Yes. And if it's only for a direction,
We're going to do Calgary Cat Photographers. We're going to get started with our first cat chat with the cat photography of YYC Cat Photographer.
Hello, so my name is Jonathan,
and my name's Abe.
and we make up YYC Cat Photography. So, you know our names, but who exactly are we? So, I'm originally from the Bahamas, from a town called Nassau. I lived there most of my life, 19 years. I have done schooling there for 1 year at the University of the Bahamas, and after that, I decided to move to Canada, to Prince Edward Island, where I did my bachelor's degree in biology, and that's what I met.
So I'm originally from Calgary, but I also decided I'm going to just move on in first state. Moved to Prince Edward Island. I also pursued a bachelor's degree in biology where I'm enjoying things. And then since then, I've been working in the veterinary industry for the last 3.5 years. I completed my veterinary technology diploma this summer. I wrote my VTE, which was the licensing exam, and then I decided that I really love school and I'm going to stay in school forever. So I'm actually attending the University of Calgary's veterinary medicine program I just started in the fall. So outside of school, I grew up taking lots of pictures my entire life. My parents got me some cameras when I was young, and I took some really bad pictures and a few okay pictures, but most of those ended up being of cats. And so these are a few of my childhood cats that I bothered with my camera all the time. So on the far top left and in the middle, that's us. In the middle on the left is my grandma's cat, Pretty Boy. The name was very soothing. And then on the bottom and the right is Mr. Smokey the Bear.
And I grew up most of my life without any pets. I didn't get my first pet till 18 when this is Mario. I picked up off the side of the highway. She was about 3 weeks old. She hated me for a while. She pissed at me, she scratched me. But after about a week, she warmed up to me. But as a new pet owner, I had to get used to taking care of her. I didn't know how to take care of any animals. I fed her strictly slices of hot dog and cream for about a month until I took her to the vet. Figured out what to do. She had fleas, worms. I did another cat. I went to the vet for several months, every single week to make sure she's okay. And honestly, they loved me there. They wanted to take on their animals, but I did the best I could with her. And yeah, she's honestly so great. But eventually, I had to leave her when I came to Canada, and that's when we got our 3 cats. On the left, in the blue hat, is Tchaikovsky. In the middle is Delilah with the purple hat. And the very top is Milch in the green.
And so little Chai, as we like to call him with a silent T for Tchaikovsky, or his more common name, Rat, he kind of pushed us into cat photography. The 3 of them really did, because I just took pictures of them all the time whenever I could. But Chai, we ended up with his foster brother. So the foster that we got Tchaikovsky from, they adopted George, and they needed somebody to watch George for Christmas, and so we stepped up and brought him into our home and had George for a little while. And while he was at our house, we took pictures of him, because why wouldn't we? He's super adorable. And so during his owners loved the pictures, they loved what we were doing, and that was kind of the start of us doing cat photography.
So on the left is George, his younger brother Jonas. So doing these photo shoots, we kind of discussed why we're doing this and how we got into it. We kind of figured out that you see all over the internet, there's lots of dog photographers, people talking about dogs, and they look everywhere, but you don't see a lot of cat photographers. So we decided that we want to get into that. We found our niche, and we decided that this is what we want to do, cat photography.
And then with that, we learned that dogs and cats are really never the same. And my background in food medicine helped out with this, because that way, we could take the mannerisms of cats and how they behave and what do they like. And after their ears move to communicate with when they're comfortable or uncomfortable things. And so that helped us to make sure that we were doing everything all within their comfort zone and never stepping outside of it. And so from here, I started photographing our friend's cats. So this is Ace, this is Daisy, and Earl. And then we ended up getting two. We call these cats and friends and friends cats. So here we have Octavia, Peach, and Balthazar. And so we really brought us out on who we were thinking pictures of and who's actually to take pictures of. And it kind of came down to, okay, cool, we have cats, can we take pictures of them? Because we love cats and they're really cute. And then we ended up doing some charity photo shoots. So this was one that I did at the vet clinic I was working at. And of course, there's a few dogs in there because dog lovers like to get things all done the same as cat lovers. So we were lucky there was a lot of cats that we got to photograph. And for this photo shoot, we were raising funds for people that can't afford essential veterinary care. I mean, we raised around $400, and all of it just got donated. And so that was one of our, really big causes that we worked on.
So eventually, through all of that, we got outreach by the Meow Foundation and ARCs and fosters, and we decided that we want to take pictures of foster animals because that way they have a better pictures that you can really see their personality, understand what they're, and get the best possible photo of them to get adopted. So this right here is Bramble. We took pictures of him from the very start all the way up until he got adopted or like foster players, but we did the best we could to really get his personality. Our favorite is that one in the middle with his little tilt his face. That's our favorite there. But we did the best we can to really show his personality and to get him the best photo possible. So we've done a lot of foster photos. A lot of these cats here, and like all of them have actually been adopted. And honestly, it was a wild ride, it was a big journey, but that's what we're doing, that's what we're about.
And you help me make it happen.
And so we also, of course, with ones on some of the ARCs and the Meow fosters, we have some photos in the Meow Foundation rat letters. So we've got some in the 2025 calendar, and we also have some in the 2026 calendar. So it's about $10. Anybody wants to support the Meow Foundation, they have to use the front door. And so as we've been working through our photography, we've kind of got some signature poses that we've done with the cats. And what we're seeing then is seeing what they like. So here we can see there's what we like to call the cat wave, aka you're not feeding me treats fast enough and I need to swing my paws in your face. So this one has been a super popular pose, as well as our tongue shots. And so we've actually had some dog photographers reach out to us and ask their cats, how do you lift their tongues out? And what cat puts its tongue out? And the secret is cat creamy treats, because once they get those in their system, they go right into grooming mode, and then you can get really cute pictures like this.
So we have a usual setup that we do for all of our cats. We usually start with a bar stool, and we have 2 to 4 sets of lights and a backdrop. We try and get them to sit on the stool so we can capture them the best we can. And honestly, sometimes it doesn't really work. Cats are cats. Sometimes they will sit on the stool, sometimes they don't. On the far left there is George Ruggles Fred. Bramble Ruggles Fred. And at the time, he was terrified of this. He did not want to sit. He did not want to sit anywhere near it. He didn't want to be close to it. He was terrified. He was shaking. So we decided that he'll just take pictures of my lap. I held him there for about 20 minutes and captured as many photos as I can. In the middle is a moose. He is a half raccoon, so he's very large. He was too big for the stool, so we decided that he had to get his own chair. His parents had a bar stool upstairs that we had to use and work with them to make him as comfortable as possible. So we did that.
And then this is Bo. This is Lisa's brother, who is a full paid coon, and he was way too big for our stool. And so again, we used what they had available, and because this stool smelled like them, it was from their own home. They were more comfortable with this, and we worked with them, and we still got the great shots. And like on the far right here, this is Friday. Friday was a very special kitty. She was a recent mom that got spayed and adopted out, and so she kind of lost out on having her kitten time, as she would say, because she was busy being a mom. And so when we were doing their pictures, she was bouncing off the walls. She was like, this is my chance to be a kid. I'm going to jump off, jump down, jump over, play over there, try this, and do that. And so with her, the school just ended up being too much. It was a little bit overstimulating for her, and we decided that we'll just take that out of the picture entirely, and we moved our backdrop, made sure that it was on the floor so she could comfortably sit and play on the backdrop. and then we just tied the rope playing that way. And so Friday, her mom is actually here today. She's over on the side with obsidian tattoo. So if anybody wants to get any cute kitten tattoos, she's there all day today. But Friday ended up doing great once we got rid of our skirt.
So even though sometimes the photos don't come out the way we want them to, which is okay, that's a part of the process. It's fun to look back at all these quote-unquote bad photographs and realize how far we've come and what these cats have done. But on the far left is a Willow. When we went to take photographs of her, she was terrified. She sat in the cat tree the whole time. No trees can get her out, no toys. Her parents couldn't get her out, so we decided that we'd take a step back. We took down all the lights, we took down the chairs, you just let her come out naturally. I took pictures of her the best we could, right next to her favorite window, and that's the best picture we got of her.
And then on the right here, this is Rorschach. He's actually my dad's cat, and he's a former feral kitty that got brought in about 4 weeks. And so he is scared of everything. He's scared of new people, new things, movements, black noises, literally everything. And so with him, you can tell he's not fully comfortable. He's got some nervousness with his pictures because of the way that his ears are. They're not centered, they're not forward, they're not in a neutral position. And so the thing with Rorschach was, any other pictures that we were able to get or that anybody could get of him, it was kind of just a blur running away. And so being able to still have a picture where you can see, Rorschach, you can see his face, you can see his eyes, as much as it's not my standard picture and it's not, the favorite types of pictures that I like to get, it was one of those things that...
On the left is Delilah, our girl. She smacked her brothers 3 times during that shoot, and she didn't want anyone near her because she wanted to treat herself. In the middle is Daisy, again, the dad's cat. She, again, is a little skittish, she's a little scared, so we had to lure her out quickly and get as best shots we could, but she's a little straight enough anyway. Next to her is George and Tchaikovsky when we had to watch both of them. And they played together that entire weekend. They stayed together that entire time. Chai taught George how to fight like a cat, and George taught Chai how to eat like a cat. So together they made a great pair. And then on the far right is Tchaikovsky, learning that food is his only motivator. That is the only thing he wants.
Sorry, and so with our cats, Forrester, Delilah, and Tchaikovsky, they've been our main inspiration in all of this, as they've given us the opportunities to try things like home before we take them to another cat's home. Because the way that we run our photography is we bring everything to the cat's home. Because cats don't like to get in their carriers, they don't like to go on a car ride, they don't want to go to an unfamiliar place that smells like other things. And so we bring our lights, we bring our chair, we bring our equipment all to the house, and we set it up and we let the cats sniff it and get comfortable before we can attempt any photos. And so they've been our ones for trying some things at home and kind of going from there.
So thank you all for this thing, and coming out here to the Cat Festival. We hope that you enjoy your time, and that if you have any questions, you can come up here and ask us. You can take a card. We have Instagram or Facebook if you want to email us. But thank you for coming out.
And let us know if anybody has any questions.